Yo, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video here today. And this is something a little bit different on the channel, and it is the return of league racing or online racing on the channel. And I've been meaning to do this for a little while now, but finally we are here as the new AOR Apex Online Racing season is kicking off, and we are here for an evaluation race at USA. This race is going to determine where we are placed in terms of the categories going into the new season, and I'll reveal that at the end of the video, guys, so stay tuned for that. But let's focus on this race first of all, as our first qualifying lap here gives us P2. Eventually we got pushed down to P3, and the familiar theme here are the two guys in first and second. Those two guys and also myself, we were all very similar match for pace, and you'll see that over the course of the episode. But now we're going to run aboard for a full lap of the Austin, Texas circuit here, and also me running straight T-cam, which is very rare for me, and also using default cars once again. So all this felt quite strange to me, but I had a good setup and the car felt good. Making our way up towards turn 1, you want to brake at the black box on the right hand side, down to second gear, trying to short shift up to third and try and get a nice clean exit out of turn number 1, flat out through 2. As we now go into the S's, we've got a yellow flag in front as we make our way through the rights and the lefts, finishing up sector 1 nice and strongly here by keeping it nice and tight through that second apex of the right-hander, and then bringing the car to the left-hand side as we set a purple sector 1 faster than anybody, as we now make our way over the little right-left chicane, over the bump, and now down the hill towards the hairpin, looking for the 100-meter board. We want to try and brake just after that into the hairpin, and really focus on a late apex and trying to pick up a nice bit of traction on the exit here to really make sure you maximize your straight line speed on the back straight, using overtake mode once again along here with the DRS wide open. And you're now looking for pretty much the 50-meter board as your reference into the braking for this heavy brake zone. Two cars there getting out of my way and avoiding action, which is really good to see as we now make our way into the final sector. And we are down by half a tenth on Jake currently, who's setting the pace in the Williams, and we're also up by about a tenth of a second on our previous best. But it's not over yet as we make our way through here, a little bit sideways and losing a bit of time through there, and we have thrown away our advantage. You know, we were so far up in the first sector, and we've kind of lost that gradually over the middle sector and the start of the third. But luckily for us, I absolutely nailed this final part of the lap, and I managed to find a couple of tenths here now into the final corner. Second gear action, then quickly back up to third, open up the DRS and run up to the line, and we improved by 2.5 tenths, so we do manage to make up for it. We go 3,000 slower than Jake, but eventually Jake would improve himself and get his lap below a 1 minute 31, and he was the only man in the 130s. Me personally, I think there was a sub 1 minute 30 there. I think that second sector wasn't great, and also the start of the third, you know, we lost our advantage, so it wasn't a smooth qualifying. I also only had time for 2 runs. I didn't have time for my final one. I had to go do something real quick, so I wasn't able to use my last set of tyres to try and maximise the qualifying session. So it is where it is. Either way, it was very competitive, and it seems like it is going to be a 3-way fight between myself, Jake, and also Zen Aim behind me. So that 3 is going to be kind of what you have to look out for. Robert in 4th place also has some pretty okay pace, but after that it's there's quite a way in terms of pace for other guys there, but a pretty decent qualifying for us, getting it on the front row, and that gives us a chance in the race to try and turn it around. So that's it for qualifying. We're now going to move into the race, and my first race in league racing since I believe over a year ago. So let's jump into it and let's see how I got on. Right, so here we go then on the grid for the start of the formation lap here for the race at the USGP. And this formation lap, again, all about getting temperatures on point, making sure your tyres are in the right window, and also your brakes are looking good. In terms of the strategy, we are going to go for a one-stopper. Originally, I was going to go for the soft, straight into the mediums around lap 10 to 12, but I quickly realised, and you'll see in a minute, that was nearly impossible. So I changed my strategy to a soft, hard midway through the race. Either way, we're going to jump onto the grid then and get ready for the start of the race as everybody forms up at the back of the grid. And here we go then, the lights are coming on here at Austin, Texas, and it's 5 lights, and it's going to be lights out and away we go for the USGP. And it's a good start from us off the line, getting a slightly better start than Jake, but Jake covers the inside as we go into turn 1. We've also got Hawkeye behind us in the McLaren trying to look around the outside. We managed to keep our line and also our position through turn 1, now going down towards turn 2, and looking like we are going to be okay to hang on to this going through into the S's, as we've got a green flag, yellow flag behind. So luckily we avoid the carnage, and that's a good thing about being out towards the sharp end and not being caught up in the middle of the pack. Also for this race, guys, damage is turned off. They the stewards wanted to make sure everyone had a fair chance in this race. So again, you can have contact, but you know, preferably you want to obviously try and race cleanly. So And they're making their way down towards the hairpin here, and I was hoping to be a little bit closer, but the theme here was Jake was really good at getting a good exit out the hairpin, and of course the slipstream isn't as strong with these cars as it is in my career mode in Season 5 or Season 6 now with the fully maxed out cars, and there's no DRS of course, and yeah, like I said, there was a theme here, and Jake just kept on, you know, putting the laps in, and to be honest with you, I think we lacked a little bit of pace compared to him. I wasn't quite as fast. He was doing a good job of keeping up, but yeah, we just lacked a little bit. Crucially, like I said, he was getting really nice exits out of the corners, and it was giving him, you know, enough to hang on the straights, and I couldn't really put him under any major pressure. As we go on to lap number 3 now, DRS will be enabled next time we cross the line here. And you can see currently DRS is enabled, and we are actually doing a good job. We was keeping up with Jake and staying behind him with the DRS. Of course, I feel like that was kind of getting me out of trouble as we get some dirty air. We went a little bit wide there and pick up a invalidation. I believe we got a 2-in-1 there. I think I may have got one on the inside apex as well, even though the game didn't show it, because for some reason, you'll see in a minute what happened, but I think I got 2-in-1 there, even though it only showed 1. I definitely think I got a double invalidation there, as we quickly have a look at our tyres, and tyre wear is starting to pick up a little bit as we make our way up towards turn 1. But like I said before, I feel like I lacked a little bit of pace with Jake. I feel like DRS was keeping me close to him, which was good because we was pulling away. You can see on the minimap we have a massive gap forming, and the pace looks really good. Going for the S's though, I cut this one, and we do pick up our first time penalty of the race, a 3-second time penalty, and also my rears for some reason out of nowhere overheated, and I started to slide all over the place, and that was the first telltale sign that I was like, oh, actually I may have to pit because the tyres are starting to overheat, and you know, that wasn't part of the plan. And you see here at the end of lap 5 Jake actually pits, so it kind of also confirmed to me that okay, maybe I should be pitting. And surprisingly to me, I believe Jake pit for the medium tyres, and this is where the race kind of fell away from me a little bit. So I went out for another lap. I managed to have a pretty good lap, to be fair, a good recovery lap, and we are going to pit on lap 6, so earlier than expected, and we are going to go for the hard tyres because I thought to myself, you know what, I can get a set of hards to the end. I'm not quite sure I can do that on the mediums, so we're just going to play it safe and go for the hard tyres. And we were in first place. We are going to drop back a few places, of course, as we hit the pit lane there. The front tyre still overheating, as you saw there briefly on the front right, but a 2.5 stop, we get held up ever so slightly there by Robert in the racing point, but we do get underway, and now we've got to try and get these hard tyres up to temperature as we go up towards turn 1. We are going to rejoin just behind Rupert and in front of, it looks like a Mercedes or a Williams behind us. Either way, we are in 8th place, and the good news here was actually Jake for some reason was behind us. I'm not sure what happened to him, but we managed to get back in front of him, so really nice bit of strategy from us. And we also rejoined a little bit of clean air as well, which really helped us out, and it was the best possible outcome in terms of what could have happened. But now we've got these two guys in front here battling away, and it seems like they don't have much pace, and I had to try and tackle them. So I was trying to be careful here because obviously damage is off, but I want to be, you know, respectful in terms of racing and also give a chance. And as you can see here, Rupert goes defensive in the Haas. We are going to try and go around the outside at the heaven, but the Ferrari in front loses the back end, and we just clip him, and I'm trying to avoid it, but it's one of those situations where you can't just slam on the brakes, but you also don't want to keep accelerating. Eventually we got away, and Rupert also got a pretty good exit, but we managed to just pull away. You can see here we got the DRS, so we are powering through, and luckily for us he didn't go for the inside under braking, which was good to see, and we hold on to P6 as we come towards the end of the lap. So that little situation there worked out okay in the end as we now move on to lap number 9, and you can see cars in the pit lane here, so we are going to take back first place. But most importantly, Jake is back up to second place, and he's on mediums, as is also Zename and Robert there actually in third place on the hard tyres. But now you can see on lap 9 Jake was behind us. He was absolutely flying on the medium tyres, and we couldn't do much. I tried to defend it, but he had too much momentum. Like I said, his corner exits were really good, and it was, you know, you can notice that when he was defending, and I could also notice it when he was attacking, and the medium tyre was just a much better compound at this time. But in my head I thought to myself, you know what, that's okay, we can try and keep up and see how long we can stay in DRS range for, because surely he's going to have to stop again. You know, he started on the soft tyres, he pit on lap 5 for mediums. Surely he can't do 23 laps on the medium tyres. At least that's what I thought at the time. So I just focused on doing my own race and trying to keep up. Eventually you can see now all the way up to lap 13, Zename in third place is starting to make some progress, and he's back to where he qualified, and he was now closer to me than I was to Jake. And he was actually, I would say, in terms of race pace, he was the fastest driver. Really good race pace from him. I was actually quite surprised. And you know, for context, I know Jake actually took part in the pro draft, in and around the pro draft, you know, of F1 Esports. So I was doing my best to try and keep pace with these guys. But now on to lap number 16 here, and you can see behind us now Zen is 1 second behind, and he was really starting to put the pressure on. He was also on the same strategy as Jake, but I'm not quite sure what lap he picked. I think it may have been lap 6. I'm not quite sure. Either way, we go on to lap 18, and Zen's first attempt at making a move on us was at the end of the long straight. And you can see here he does have a bit of a look on the braking. On the lap before, he kind of sat behind me. This time he had a bit of a look, but I was able to brake nice and late, and he also backed out of it right at the last second, so I managed to stay in front for a little bit longer. Then on to lap 19, he once again tried his luck into the first corner. This time he's going to try and slam on the brakes. You can see it coming from a mile away, so I keep a nice wide line and do a absolute textbook switchback maneuver and get him straight back for second place, which was absolutely perfect, and that's exactly what we want. But then eventually it wasn't to be. Again, you know, the medium tyre was the better tyre, and he had a lot more pace than me. Even though that medium tyre now is about 12 laps old, or give or take 12 laps old, he still had the legs on me, and the hard tyre just lacked a bit of overall pace, and you can see here this time he gets by quite comfortably. So the target from this point on for me was just to hang on really and try and match the pace. We got Robert behind on the hard tyres, a little bit further back, so it was definitely a 3-horse race for the race win. You know, we was all battling away. Seemingly there was no real information to gather, and we continue on our way onto lap 23. Going through the S's though, we pick up another corner cut, and this time my second time penalty, and we're now up to 6 seconds, so that's not very good. And we're currently doing a good job though. We're still hanging on, and like I said, DRS is keeping us in it. But now on lap 24, we started to set personal best after personal best. You know, we set a high 35 there, and then the very next lap even faster still into the low 35s, and we was really pushing here. And also out front, Jake in the Williams was really struggling for pace, and actually Zen was dragging me along, and we were both catching him, and we were bunching up. And also there was a lot of traffic. Luckily for us, they were all ghost cars because damage was off, so that really helped us out in terms of obviously having to avoid them. But it didn't make things as easy as you may think, because it was actually quite distracting seeing the ghosts move all over the place here. And you'll see what I mean over the next couple of clips, but you can see Zen trying to make his way through. But again, it's difficult because even though the car's invisible, the effects, I believe, of dirty air are still present, and also slipstream, and you can still get DRS as well. So in this situation, Zen was able to get DRS from the lap cars, and this really helped him in terms of being able to just edge away from me. And the medium tyre just showed no signs of slowing down. You know, I was on the hard tyre, and I was hoping to get the advantage on these guys, but they were not going to pit. They were going to go to the end and do 20 plus laps on medium, so that completely caught me out. And if I'd known, I would have done that myself, but I just couldn't match them in terms of, you know, certain areas, and that medium tyre was holding on forever. As we make our way through the traffic here, this was a problem for me. Hitting traffic in the S's, it was really distracting for me, and I couldn't quite focus on the line, and I got another corner cut there into the S's, and then the very next lap, the exact same thing, this time with a Ferrari, and just following my car through this section made it very hard for me to follow the line. And we get 2 more extensions. Either way, we aren't going to get any more penalties. We are sitting on the 6 seconds, but you can see in front, there's Jake, and there is Zen just behind. So we are bunching up here, and we now get past the last of the back markers here, going through the triple right-hander, and now it's going to be one more lap to go, and it's going to be a straight fight. And I can see that Jake is struggling, and here you go, Zen does go for the move at the end of the straight on the race leader, under braking there side by side. And I thought to myself, you know what, I've got a chance here. I do run it a bit hot on the brakes, which was not ideal from us, and we lose a little bit of time, but these two are still battling away. Jake though with a nice undercut underneath Zen there to retake first place, and he's going to probably just about shut the door on him through here and try and bring this one home in the lead. But you can see how much we were bunching up, and this was the 3-way fight, you know, in qualifying and also in the race as well. Had I known, I would have gone for the mediums, and I think I could have had a little bit better pace and maybe competed with these guys a bit more. But either way, going through the final few corners now, and you can see Zen giving it everything as we now make our way through the final corner, but it wasn't to be for him. Either way, Jake is going to win it. Both myself and Zen had 6 seconds worth of time penalties, so even if Zen had got past, he wouldn't have won the race, as Jake would have taken maximum honours on track. But there's your podium, and there are the 3 drivers that in my opinion were by far cut above the rest in this evaluation race. And yeah, overall a great result, and a really good day at the office for us in terms of the race. And yeah, for me personally, really happy with it. A few mistakes here and there, and also I'm not happy with the penalties, but you know, considering I've been away for a little while from league racing, it's not too shabby, so I'll take it, and I know where I can improve, which is good. And you can see now on screen the final results of the race, and we've got Jake to pick up the win ahead of Zen and myself. Jake was actually the only driver to not get a penalty, so credit to him for keeping it very clean and having a fantastic race in terms of the racecraft. Elsewhere though, as you can see, we do get 3rd place, and then outside of that we do have Robert in P4, Hawkeye P5, Maverick P6, Chris in P7, and yeah, pretty much everyone after that was quite a way away. And I would say the fastest guys today was the top 5, maybe the top 6, but especially that top 3, we was a level above everybody else. We really had some strong pace, and it was a good battle. I really enjoyed it. There was, we tried our best, it just wasn't to be. So we go again. But the good news is the racing, or the league should I say, starts this Sunday on the 8th, so a very quick turnaround, which was quite surprising to me, but I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully it will be a good race. But I'm now going to show you guys the tier which I'm in for this new season. So in terms of the placements here, if we look at the F2 league, some of the names I'm familiar with. So for example, Rupert, who is in 4th place, we raced him here today. He was in the Haas, of course, who we had a battle with, and again, I had pretty good pace compared to him, so again, that's an indication that I may be in the right split. Also JSR, I'm familiar with him. He was someone that I raced with last time I was in league racing about a year ago on the F2 split in F1 2018 as well. And then further down as well, I do recognise Zen, of course, who's at the bottom, who we race with in this very race. So it seems like the pace is going to be quite competitive. There are a lot of drivers there that I recognise, so I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to see exactly how this all pans out. But guys, that is going to be it for this video here today. If you guys enjoyed it, and then drop a like and let me know if you're excited for the return of league racing onto the channel. It's going to be a 12-round season, so hopefully you guys do look forward to it. But yeah guys, that is going to be it for me here today, and also check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them, and turn notifications to not miss out on any future content from me. And yeah guys, that is going to be it from this video, and I'll see you in my next one very soon for the start of the season in Bahrain. But until then, it's goodbye from me.